want to now shift to Zach Taylor and the Cincinnati Bengals. Zach Taylor is currently the Cincinnati Bengals head coach, but I'm going to be the guy that spoils the party. I believe the Cincinnati Bengals need to fire Zach Taylor. This past Sunday, the Cincinnati Bengals lost 30-7 to the Dallas Cowboys. And keep in mind, the Dallas Cowboys are awful. They're not a great team. And Zach Taylor and the Cincinnati Bengals got blown out by the Dallas Cowboys. And I know what you're probably thinking. Oh, but Zach Taylor has had the Bengals competing. They've been in a lot of close games over the past 2 years. They're competing. And last year, sure, that was good enough to be the standard. But at some point, folks, we cannot keep handing out participation trophies. At some point, you need to win games. The NFL is a results-oriented business. I'm not into participation trophies. Oh, our team competed this week. No, did your team win or did your team lose? Is your head coach getting it done or is he losing games? And Zach Taylor, he has not won enough games so far up to this point in Cincinnati. And people can talk about, oh, the Bengals, they always are competing. They're always in these one-score games. Well, what's Zach Taylor's record in these one-score games? Over the past 2 years, Zach Taylor's record in one-score games is 1-13-1. 1 win, 13 losses, and a tie. And people could say, oh, Zach Taylor, he has no talent to work with on his roster. The roster's no good. I feel for Zach Taylor. Well, to that I say, Ron Rivera inherited a dysfunctional organization with a crackhead, honestly, for an owner, and Daniel Snyder, a borderline crackhead, a guy, maybe not a crackhead, that might be a little harsh, but a guy that has proven to be a very bad owner in Daniel Snyder. Ron Rivera inherited chaos. He inherited a 3-win ball club, and outside of adding Chase Young, it's not like the Washington football team went out and spent a bunch of money in free agency. They didn't spend the third most money in free agency like the Bengals did this past offseason. The Bengals, they actually spent some money in free agency. They spent the third most money in free agency this past year. Ron Rivera has Washington in a position to win their division. They're much improved. Joe Judge, same thing with him. The Giants are vastly improved, and they're not a very talented team. Brian Flores, with nothing last year, won 5 games. People were talking about the Miami Dolphins as maybe having one of the worst rosters of all time. And Brian Flores found a way to win 5 games. Cliff Kingsbury, his rookie year in Arizona, he found a way to improve the team. Kyle Shanahan, he's winning games in a very tough division with Nick Mullins. Matt Rule, he's improved the Carolina Panthers. So I'm done with those excuses. There are other head coaches out there turning water into wine and making Zach Taylor look bad, okay? I ask Bengals fans this question. What is Zach Taylor's specialty? What is Zach Taylor really, really good at? Because Bill Belichick, what makes him special is he's a defensive-minded head coach, a defensive guru. Kyle Shanahan, he's an offensive genius. What makes Zach Taylor stand out among current head coaches? Is he an offensive guru? No. Is he a defensive guru? No. Is Joe Burrow lighting the world on fire? Yes, he is. But if you look at the offense without Joe Burrow, it's awful. Joe Burrow was hiding a lot of weaknesses that the Cincinnati Bengals had as a football team, okay? He was hiding, he was covering up a lot of things, okay? He was a big-time Band-Aid that covered up a lot of bad, sour patches and weaknesses on that football team. This team is getting exposed without Joe Burrow because they're not even watchable without Joe Burrow, okay? And do we trust Zach Taylor to get the most out of Joe Burrow? Because I don't. Do we trust Zach Taylor to go against the Andy Reids of the world, the Mike Tomlins of the world, the Sean McDermotts of the world, the Brian Flores of the world. I could go on and on. John Harbaugh, Kevin Stefanski, Mike Vrabel, Bill Belichick in a down year is going to win 8 games. Frank Wright's one of the best head coaches in the AFC and all of football, arguably, too. Is Zach Taylor ready to go up against those guys? Because I don't think so. Because if the Cincinnati Bengals are facing any of those teams, they're at a massive coaching disadvantage because of Zach Taylor. And I don't think Zach Taylor is the right guy to lead the Cincinnati Bengals to the promised land. He's not a Super Bowl caliber coach. He's just not, okay? So, for all those reasons I mentioned, Zach Taylor, I believe he needs to be fired. He's probably not gotten the most fair of shakes so far in the NFL, but that's life in the NFL. You need to make good with what you have. And so far, I think Zach Taylor has underachieved in Cincinnati. And if I were the Cincinnati Bengals, I would fire Zach Taylor in order to try to get the most out of Joe Burrow and this roster, because in your own division, Kevin Stefanski, John Harbaugh, and Mike Tomlin are miles ahead of Zach Taylor. It ain't even close. So for all those and that's just in your division, okay? We're not even talking about the Andy Reids and the Mike Vrabels and the Brian Floreses of the world and the Bill Belichicks of the world. So for all those reasons that I mentioned, I believe the Cincinnati Bengals are best served trying to get the most out of Joe Burrow and this roster. They need to go out and spend some money to get a top of the level head coach. And in reality, Zach Taylor needs to be fired by the end of the 2020 season in Cincinnati. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.